Lacey Everett here with the Minds in Motion dance series. Today's guest is Jasmine Mason, who is a phenomenal dancer and an outstanding person. Jasmine has worked with almost every artist under the sun, including a world tour with Katy Perry. She's going to talk to us about what it was like for her and her highs and lows and how she overcame it. Jasmine and I also have a really great talk about mindfulness and examples of mindfulness in everyday life and how to be mindful at work and the benefits of it, how Jasmine uses it and how it has helped her. She's also going to give us tips on how to pick up choreography fast. Jasmine also is an author of a new book that's out called You Ain't Shirt. And I mean, talk about books to heal a broken heart. This book is so creative and it's great. It's needed in this world. If you want to learn more about it or the meaning behind that really creative title, go check it out. You Ain't Shirt. And subscribe to the Minds in Motion YouTube channel, which is free. And if this video benefits you, send it to others. All right, here we go. Jasmine Mason. Hi, Jasmine.
Hi, Lacey.
Hi, I'm so glad that you get to talk with us.
I'm so excited to be here and so honored that you thought of me and reached out.
Oh my gosh, of course. You are a phenomenal dancer. You have danced with, almost every artist under the sun. You went on tour with Katy Perry. I'm curious how that was for you, or if you had any highs or lows that went with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, of course, with anything, there are highs and lows. That was 100% a dream job. Like, I had been wanting to go on a world tour. That was something that I wanted to experience. And when the time came to audition, it just, something happened. I was like, this feels really right, like too right. And it aligned perfectly with where I was at in life. And I fully manifested it. I have it like in my journal. I was like meditating, doing yoga and journaling every single day. Like, I had an hour block, and I remember writing in my journal, I'm like, I want to book a world tour. Like, I want to book a tour. I want to travel. And then all of a sudden this audition pops up. It was kind of a limited audition. It was still big, but it wasn't like open to anyone. And I somehow got the call. I didn't know the choreographers at first. Go to the audition. It was like 4 days of auditioning, and then I booked it. And it was surreal. I remember crying when I got the call from my agent. And then we got to travel the world, and it was amazing. It was unreal. But the thing is I'm going to get to my low, is I lost that moment of like feeling grateful for the job, because once you're on the 120th run and you're doing the same 2.5 hour show over and over, it's really easy to let your brain go, oh my gosh, here we go again. And so I got into that thinking. I remember one day, and I didn't like that I was thinking that. I'm like, remember how hard you worked and how bad you wanted this job. So I reached out to my friend Scott, who had been on tour before, and with Katy, and I was like, hey, my brain is doing weird things. Like, what's going on? And he told me, he was like, before the show, go take a walk around the auditorium or the venue. Like, go see the people buying food that are so excited to be here. Like, go look at their faces. And I did that one time by myself. I just walked around and I was like, oh, this isn't even about me. Like, this job isn't about me. You know what I mean? It's for the audience. It's for these people that bought these tickets 2 months prior and got so excited. This is like, I've done the show 120 times, but they've never seen the show. So it's like, it's not even about me anymore. It's about them. And so being on the stage and looking out at the audience and like really zooming in on each face was so, it shifted the way I was thinking about the job. And then that turned into a high, if that makes sense. So it's like, it started with a low, and then I reminded myself like how hard I worked to get to that point, how much I wanted it, and then how I'm doing this for other people, really. And that changed the whole game for me. And I was like, oh, I love this. I want to do this. I want to do this forever.
Yes. And it's interesting that when you first auditioned, you noticed that there was a feeling inside you that you had, that you just felt like it was right. It was like that trust your intuition kind of saying that
gut feeling.
And then you got it. And then you started to get used to it. You know, you kind of get used to it. Like, okay.
Robotic. You're doing the same thing over and over. Go to the venue, do the soundtrack.
Yes, robotic. And so it was really nice that you also noticed that you were getting robotic and you sought out consultation from friends and you're like, what do I do? Because this isn't me. And then you started to notice, okay, I need to have a different philosophy if I'm gonna be happy with this. And it really is about the others. You're making them so happy.
Yeah. It's all about shifting your perspective. Like you could honestly change how you're feeling about any situation if you just change your mind about it.
That's yes, well said. And so, Jasmine, I'm curious how you were able to pick up choreography so fast. Because you're on the go. You're dancing with not only on tour with Katy Perry, but with so many other artists. And dancing with an artist is different.
It's different. Like so 15 songs. Yeah. Well, it's so funny because I always forget how, like, being a professional dancer, how good you get or how good you are at picking up choreo. When I'm around my non-dancer friends, they'll be like, oh my God, look at this like TikTok dance or something. And I'm like, oh, and then I do it. And they're like, wait, you watched it one time and you know what you're doing. Like, and it's really picking up choreo it's a muscle. It's like, yes, some people are given this like natural talent of picking up fast. I have like a very quick, memory. So I can remember something right away, but I have a bad like long-term memory. So don't ask me to do a Katy Perry routine from 3 years ago. Like, it's not gonna happen. But I would say it's definitely a muscle. So it's something that you have to constantly practice. You can't just, wing it sometime. Like you have to keep practicing it. So I definitely think starting out as a dancer at 3 years old at a competition studio helped me because you have to learn 15 dances anyway to go compete every single year. You learn combos. And yeah, so that was practice. So that became like a muscle for me. And I would say for anybody else trying to be a professional dancer and they're having trouble picking up choreo, you just have to keep practicing at it. Take as many classes as you can. Take as many online classes, do combos, maybe even watch someone's video and like screen record it and practice picking it up from that. Like it's just something, if you want to be good at it and you're having a hard time, maybe you're not as like quick as other people, you have to just keep practicing it because that's how you're going to build that muscle.
It's kind of like that saying, practice makes perfect, or the more you practice at anything, really, truly, you'll get better at it. It's just with time. So that's really nice to hear.
Don't get defeated because I know some amazing dancers that their pickup isn't they're not that strong at it. They make up in a lot of other, once they get that choreo, they're going off. But like there are some people that struggle with that. So that is a thing. But if you want to get better at it, you just have to do it. You have to just keep doing it as much as you can.
Can we talk about examples of mindfulness in everyday life that you might use to help you keep sane or to help you keep the peace? And for those who don't know what mindfulness is, it's a long story short. It's just staying in the present moment, tools people use that help them stay in the present moment and where there's no judgment attached to themselves or the outside environment around them. And it decreases anxiety, depression, PTSD. It's a pretty special tool to have. So I'm curious what you do, Jasmine.
Yeah, so good question. I mean, and it's a good reminder for me too, because I realize when I am not practicing mindfulness, like it's crazy how my life is different. If that makes sense. Like sometimes I'll let's say I go a week without practicing mindfulness or 2 weeks and my life is a little chaotic and it's a little off. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. It's because I haven't even checked in with myself. So this is nothing to do with dance, but I absolutely love journaling. So that really helps me just put my thoughts out, like put my thoughts down, because sometimes they're so unclear and I don't know exactly what I'm thinking or what I'm feeling. But once I write it out, it's like it gives me a better understanding of what I'm feeling in that moment, especially because our minds, when we think, it could just be like a loop and a rabbit hole and it's going so fast. But when you're writing, you have to slow down your thoughts. So it kind of helps you to clarify exactly what you're feeling and what's coming up. And just like I said, when I booked Katy Perry tour, which was so crazy, I gave myself an hour block. There was this like YouTube sound that I put on, and it was an hour long, and I would do yoga for 35 minutes, and then I would meditate for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then the rest of the time I would spend journaling every single day, just giving myself that hour block of like, just for myself. It's for nobody else. And that really changed my life. And so then, I mean, it changed my life. I went on a world tour. And then it was weird because I really started to find my spirituality, which is, it could be a scary word for some people, but just turning inwards and finding out more about myself while I was on tour. So I was going on this like outward journey, traveling the world, as well as like an inward journey. And that's when I really started to find who I was. And I was meditating all the time, and it was beautiful. And Katy was actually such a perfect tour to be on because she loves yoga. She does meditation. So we would have yoga sessions and meditation sessions, which was so perfect for me. I'm like, good thing I don't have this artist that wants to go to the gym and lift weights, because that's not me. So then another tool that I have for myself when I'm going into an audition, because believe it or not, I am the most nervous Nelly in the entire world. I get so nervous. And then that mind is going, and I'm looking at all the other dancers. And I do this thing where I will take like 3 deep breaths. And then I remind myself what's actually true and real. So for instance, like my brain could be saying, oh my God, that girl over there is a better dancer. She's prettier. She works all the time. Because our brain sometimes loves to do that to us.
Oh yeah, downward spiral.
Like, what team are you on? Because that doesn't make me feel good. So when that happens, I start to remind myself like what's true. Like for instance, I'm sitting in my car before the audition. Okay, I'm feeling the chairs. I'm like listening to my breath. I can smell the air. I'm like, what is real right now in this moment? Not my thoughts that are making me think all of these crazy things, but like what's real in this moment. And just that checking in with myself helps going into anything else. Because I'm like, regardless of what's happening out there, like this is okay. I feel okay. I'm with me. I'm on my team. I'm on my side. Like nothing else matters. So that is a tool that, because I get so nervous. It's unreal. Even going into, like I started taking acting classes and just going up and putting a scene up. I'm like, whoa, I'm freaking myself out. How do I come back to this? And so that's helped me tremendously.
Wow, Jasmine, you really have a great grasp on mindfulness. And I noticed you do, and I noticed when you're talking about it too, you do the thought reframing where you go, okay, I notice my thoughts are doing this right now. What's the truth? Mm-hmm. And reframing it to a more positive, but still the truth. Just crazy that something so simple can benefit you so much.
And it's weird because sometimes we look at it as like a chore, like, oh my God, gotta meditate. And then it makes you not want to do it because you're like, I'm forced to meditate. And then really it's doing like the opposite. But no, the simplest thing, even if it's just like, wait, did I take a conscious breath today where I like chose to breathe and felt it and was aware of it and noticed my breath? Like even just that like that one moment where you're like, oh, let me come back to myself. So easy, so simple.
You can choose to listen to the thought or you don't have to. And if I followed through with half of the thoughts that I had like from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. today, I probably would have been in jail. Like we don't have to listen to our thoughts, and there's so much power in just noticing it and then going, okay, wait,
Nah.
What's the truth?
Yeah. Like, thank you, but you can move on. Yeah. Sometimes we thinking this thought, that means this is what I'm thinking, and this is me, and this is my, like, I own this, and now I got to stick with this, and I got to follow it through, and then it's like tumbling.
Thank you so much, Jasmine, for your time and for these words.
Oh, you're literally the nicest person, honestly. You're so cute.
Well, it's true. Thank you, but I'm being real. Like, I genuinely, it's true. I mean, yeah, this is a good reflection moment for you, Jasmine, to realize, dang, girl, I did a lot of things. I've done a lot of things, and I've conquered mindfulness along the way. So
I mean, it's still, it never ends. It's still, I still have those same thoughts, those self-sabotaging thoughts every day. So
yeah.
But yeah, at least when you're aware of it, you know how to change it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I'll let you go. And I'm wishing you the best with when auditions come back, COVID relaxes. Well, thank you so much, Jasmine.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Bye.